So this is way more than just another La Liga match. It's a classic story, really. You've got a giant powerhouse marching toward a title, up against an underdog fighting for its European life. We're going to break down Barcelona versus Celta Vigo.
All right, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with why both teams are kind of in the same boat. Then we'll look at Barcelona's insane home form and contrast that with the tough spot Celta's in. After that, we'll dive into their history and wrap it up with what's really at stake for both sides.
So it really all comes down to this one big question. Is this match a story of redemption, or is it going to be a deepening crisis? For one team, this is their chance to bounce back big time. But for the other, well, this could be where a bad run turns into a complete collapse. And just so you know where all this info is coming from, we're pulling it directly from the official match preview data. All the stats, all the history, the form guide, it's all right here. Okay, so first things first, let's set the stage. The big thing you need to know is that both of these teams are coming into this game right after getting knocked out of Europe. So they've both had to kind of recalibrate their whole season. And wow, what a contrast it is. You've got Barcelona, who went out of the Champions League fighting. You know, they actually won their last match but still fell short. Then you have Celta Vigo, who got pretty convincingly knocked out of the Europa League. So yeah, both teams are hurting, but how they got here, totally different stories. All right, let's switch gears and talk about Barcelona. Because with Europe out of the picture, their mission is now crystal clear. It's all about total domestic domination. For them, the math is pretty simple now, right? All their energy, every bit of focus is on one thing and one thing only: winning the league. The Champions League dream is done, but that La Liga trophy is right there for the taking. So, how close are we talking? Well, they've got a massive 9-point lead at the top of the table over Real Madrid. That is a very comfortable cushion this late in the season. But honestly, this next number, this is the one that's truly terrifying for any opponent. 16. They have played 16 league games at home this season, and they've won all 16 of them. A perfect record. Camp Nou isn't just a stadium, it's a fortress. I mean, their form is just off the charts. They're on a 7-game winning streak in the league, and that includes a 4-1 beatdown of their rivals Espanyol. This isn't just a hot streak. It's their best run at home in years. They just look completely unstoppable. Okay, so that's Barca. Now let's flip the script and look at Celta Vigo, and you'll see a totally different picture. While Barcelona is flying high in the league, Celta is staring at a really steep climb at the worst possible moment. You know, the match preview really nails it with this line: their dip in form could hardly have come at a worse time. Think about it. The season is hitting its peak, European spots are on the line, and this is when their results start to slide. Ouch. And yeah, the numbers, they don't lie. It's pretty grim. If you include that Europa League loss, they've lost 4 of their last 5 matches. 1 win, 4 losses. That's a team that is seriously struggling to find its footing. And what makes this so tough is the timing. They are in this super tight race for European spot. Just 5 points between 4 different teams. But when you've only won 1 of your last 5 league games, you're losing ground fast. But wait, just when you think you've got them figured out, there's a twist. Despite this awful run of form, Celta have been incredibly hard to beat away from home. Get this, just 1 loss in their last 12 trips in the league. Now that is the stat that gives them a glimmer of hope. They might be down, but on the road, they are tough as nails. So what happens when an unstoppable force at home meets a really, really stubborn object on the road? Let's see what their direct history against each other tells us. Well, if you look at their recent matchups, it's been pretty one-sided, to be honest. Barcelona is unbeaten in the last 5, winning 4 of them. And for Celta, this is the toughest stretch they've had against Barca in almost a decade. And get this, there's actually a little piece of history up for grabs. If Barcelona wins this one, it'll be their 5th straight home league win against Celta. That's something they haven't done since way back in December 1993. So yeah, there's history on the line. All right, let's tie this all together.
At the end of the day, with all this context, what does this game really mean for these two teams? What's the prize? For Barca, it's pretty clear, right? This is about sealing the deal and getting some redemption. A win here is another huge step toward locking up that La Liga title, and it helps make that Champions League exit feel like a distant memory. But for Celta Vigo, man, the stakes are arguably just as high, but for totally different reasons. They need a result, any results, a win, even a draw, to stop the bleeding and stay in the hunt for European football next season. This is about keeping their dream alive. So that's the setup. That's the big question hanging over this game. Will Barcelona's fortress at Camp Nou continue to be unbeatable as they march towards the title, or can this famously stubborn road team, this underdog, pull off an upset that would absolutely define their season? It's a fantastic matchup.